Just checking all the everything's set up. The microphone is the correct one. Camera's on. I'm recording. I'm live. Okay. So, welcome to the broadcast. So I'm gonna record for about an hour, roughly about an hour, depending on if anybody calls in or not. To call in, you have to call me on Skype at Rebecca Maroon, and I'll answer you on Skype, or I'll call you back if I don't answer you. Just make sure I'm online on Skype. Okay. What else do I have to say? To block the advert, you have to download AdBlock Plus to your computer. It's free, and it blocks all the adverts off the computer. And if you call me, you have to mute the volume on Ustream, and I'll speak to you, and you will hear me through Skype and not through Ustream. I think that's it. I don't really know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. I watched a couple of speakers this week. Yeah, this week. Yeah, this week. A couple of speakers, and I'd forgotten how radical non-duality is. It's so radical. I'd forgotten how radical it is compared to the usual message. This is such a radical message. It's such a radical message. I'd forgotten how radical it was. But it really became so. It was a shock to see that these speakers were talking about something that just seemed so strange. It seemed so different to what's being spoken about here. It just seemed so different. It was really bizarre. This message is completely, it's just, it's in a different, it's, it's completely outside of the usual kind of dream. It's outside of that. It's outside of that. So it's completely radical. So radical. It's radical and yet it's so simple, and it's the only thing that is. It's a radical message because the human's so used to that dream story of there being people and there being separate individuals in the world. So it's so used to that whole world that's based upon that. So this message just seems so radical, so radical, because it's not based in that dream. God, wow, yeah, it just surprised me how radical, how radical this message is compared to the usual narrative of there is people, you have to do this, you have to find this, you have to become something else, become better, become nicer, become more peaceful, become more honest, become this, become that, and it's just so different, so different. And it's not going to be a popular message. It's not a popular message because it has nothing in it for you to become. It has nothing in it for the person, the sense of being someone. So there's not going to be much interest in this message at all. There'll be a dislike of this message. But this message is the only freedom. It's pointing to the only freedom there is. Oh, Hi, Julie. So this isn't about the person getting anything, and the person really believes this is about it getting something. It's gonna get to heaven. It's gonna get to meet God. It's gonna get to a place of peace and a place of perfection, or a place of no problems, or a place of bliss and happiness and joy. The person's going to get to liberation. It's going to get to there being no one there. It has all these ideas and hopes and imaginings of what is being spoken about. Rebecca really thought she was going to get there. Really was determined, was so determined to work it out. So determined. There was no other interest. Non-duality was the only interest. It was life and death. There was so much suffering. It was imperative that I made it. Imperative that I got there, got to liberation. But that person, it's not about that person getting anywhere or getting anything. It's about the end of that person. The end of that sense of being something, being someone on a journey. It's the end of that one. So that one never gets to meet God. That one never gets to heaven. That one never gets to liberation. It's the end of that someone. And then there's this, whatever this is. Not bliss, not constant happiness, not positivity. This, whatever this is, everything, everything, and nothing, everything. nothing can help that fictional person. Nothing can help it. It's an appearance. It's an appearance. It's not true. It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. Like everything else, comes and goes. So if you have any if you have any questions, then just message me or call me on Skype. This really isn't an intellectual thing. It really isn't an intellectual thing. What's being pointed to is the actual experience. The actual experience, not the the concepts of the experience or the ideas of the experience or the description of the experience. It's the actual experience. The ideas of the experience and the language of the experience can still appear, and they appear. But what's being pointed to is this, what's actually happening. And the description of what's happening is an appearance. It's an appearance. It's not true. Nothing is true. It's an appearance. So all the ideas and the intellect are appearances. They aren't true. You're not going to find the answer in the appearances, in the movements that come and go. We might have a question. Let's have a look. Do you want to call in, Julie, or not? She's asking, do you consider desire an obstacle in the death of the me? Okay. Do you consider desire an obstacle in the death of the me? Sorry. I really find it hard to, like, maybe it's reading questions, I don't know, but I find it hard to grasp the question. Do you consider desire an obstacle in the death of the me? There's no obstacle in the death of the me. Nothing can stop it or cause it or get in the way of it. Desire is an appearance. It appears. Desiring something or someone. It's an appearance that appears. Desire. It's quite a beautiful appearance. It can be. No, not an obstacle. No. Thing is, the whole death of the me thing. That's only a description of what seems to happen. There seemed to be a sense of a me or a person, and that seems to dissolve. But there wasn't actually a me or a person. So there isn't actually going to be a dissolving of any entity. just that appearance, that sense of being someone seems to not appear anymore. There isn't anyone, there isn't a person, there isn't really a separate entity, a separate seeker. So for something to be in the way of that apparent separate seeker dissolving, it's just, I can't even understand that whole question. I ask because Nisargadatta would say that, and Ramana Maharshi as well. I don't really know. I know of them. I don't really know what they say or what they speak about. I've heard their names, obviously, but that to me just seems like another thing the person would try and get rid of this desire that's appearing. Another obstacle, another whole journey of trying to become desireless and trying to become this perfect saintly person who will then find liberation or something. Yeah, I don't really know what they're talking about, to be honest. But what I'm speaking about is this: what's happening, what's actually happening. This apparent sense of someone seems to veil or something, veils or covers up just this, what's happening. It covers it up with this idea of time and journey and getting somewhere. So this one who's trying to get somewhere has now made liberation its projection, its focus. Now it's trying to get to liberation, and liberation is this: what's already happening. You can't get to liberation. You can't get to what's already the case. Who would get there? And where is there? There's just this: what's happening. It's really weird because you have to use we have to use language. Language is used to try and talk about this, but in that, because it's language, it sets up this story of this me dissolving, and it creates another kind of dream, another story based upon there being someone to dissolve. It's only a description of what seems to happen, but the person then takes that as a reality, as a real happening. So rather than waiting for the perfect job, or now waiting for the money to come in, or waiting for the husband or the wife or the children, now it's waiting for liberation, waiting for the me to drop away. And it's what happens. It's just what happens. In hearing this message, the person then makes it into another path, another journey. It's what it does. It's all it can do. That's how it lives in this idea of future, of getting somewhere. But what's being spoken about is this: what is happening, everything, everything. And that everything is nothing, nothing being everything. In language, it's hopeless. It's just what can you do? Thanks for your question, Julie, if you're still there. Thank you. Do I know of anyone who has awakened without going through physical hell? I know it sounds like it sounds as though I'm being really stupid with language and really funny with language, but I don't know anyone who has awakened. I don't know anyone who's awakened. Rebecca hasn't awakened. I'm not being funny or anything, but nobody awakens. There isn't anyone who awakens. Sorry, but I can't even, like, that question. I can't say that someone's awakened. I can't say Tony Parsons is awakened, or I can't say someone's awakened. There's nobody in the body. There's nobody in the body. There's just speaking and bodies moving, and I can't say like Tony's awakened and Richard's awakened and Lisa's awakened, or this person's not awakened and you're not awakened, and I can't. Who has, who hasn't? It's all again in that whole dream of there being somebody in the body to awaken or to not awaken. It's such a crazy subject. Like, we always want to say like some teachers or some speakers are saying it wrong, giving prescriptions, and some speakers aren't doing that and they're right and they're better than those who are giving prescriptions, and it's, it's like, there's just speaking coming out. Let's just see what this but the end, I can at least add that the end of that, not even the end, I don't even know where it is, but during a period of that, where that sense of someone is maybe dissolving or something, I don't know really, but yes, it's not a pleasant high experience. It's not something that's can be blissful moments of there just being what's happening, just being this. But yeah, it's a hellish, it can be a hellish experience as well, because there's nothing in it for you. You've always had this hope of there being something at the end of it, a reward, a prize, you know, and there isn't nothing in it for the person, and that can be hell. That's the crucifixion. That's the death of the person. There's nothing in it for you. So in this body, brain, yeah, it wasn't a pleasant, what's called awakening. Wasn't I didn't call it that at the time, but I'm calling it that in retrospect. Awakening was a horrible, a pleasant and horrible experience. So everything that is happening is happening. Whatever's happening is happening. That's what's being pointed to. What is happening is all there is. So obvious. But what can be happening also is an appearance of someone, a feeling of being someone. And then that appearance thinks it's in the middle or something, looking out at the other appearances. But that itself is an appearance also. It thinks other appearances are happening to it. It doesn't see and it can't see that it is also an appearance. And what's being pointed to is no thing in which that sense of being someone is appearing in, along with the thoughts and other appearances appearing. So this isn't about that appearance, that object, seeing anything. This is about nothing. No thing. It can't be seen. It can't be imagined. Seeing and imagining appear in it. They are objects in it. Everything appears in it. Everything. Let's see what. Oh. No, you can call in. You can call in. I don't mind calling in. There's enough time to call in. Are you going to call in? Oh, I was just about to write to you. Hi. Hello.
Hello?
Hiya.
Hello?
Could you hear me? Hello.
Hello?
You can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Hello?
Hello. You can't hear me.
Strange. I can hear you.
You can hear me? Oh. Okay, let's call him back. That's loud.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I forget about it. Perhaps you can hear me. I cannot hear you. I have to reboot my settings.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh. I can hear you. Maybe he'll call back in a minute. He's going to call back in a minute. So if he can't hear me, but I can hear him, it's his settings, I think. Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Just.
Hello? You can't
I
hear
can't
me?
hear you. I
That's
forget
so...
about it. I'm using a laptop.
Okay, that's...
And so the other time I was using a PC, but I'm using a laptop. Sorry.
God. That's really bizarre. You can't hear me. Well, I'll read your question out anyway, because you've written it here. Your question... Let me try and ring him. Maybe I'll ring him.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Just.
That's Ustream.
Settings. Strange.
So you can't hear me?
Settings.
No, you can't hear me.
Audio settings.
Yeah.
My mic is working, but my volume of my speakers are. Let me. Now. Test. Test. Audio work. Doesn't work. Test. Test. No. How about this one? Test. No. Test. Test. No. What about it?
Hello?
I'm gonna close the bracket.
Okay.
I see you in text.
Okay. trying to think whether I can hear him. So you could ask the question through Skype. I can hear him and answer. Then he can maybe unmute Ustream. But would that then affect something? I don't know. Should we try doing that? Let's try doing that. Okay. So I'll call him. I'll write. I'll write it in here. We can still talk through Skype, and you can unmute Ustream to hear my answer. Maybe. Right, I'll call him back and see.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Test.
But you can't hear me. Can you read what I've written?
Rebecca, Jeroen. Connection with Holland or with Spain, I mean. Strange.
Can you read read the message?
I have my options. And it says audio settings. I can hear the microphone level going up and down, but the speakers have 3 options, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Test.
I can hear you, yeah. You can't hear me.
What?
No, that's that's on Ustream.
I can't hear. Hold on, you're sending me a pin.
Yeah.
You can still ask. Okay.
Ask your question, and then
my question is, the thing that you talked about the other day, like seeking is happening by itself, realizing is happening by itself. So you cannot give me any advice, right? So my question is, should I ask a question? The question is, should I ask a question? Because if I believe that the question is coming from me, I would go into the seeking thing. So perhaps I should stop asking questions to you and to the lady on Ball Talk.
Yeah. But
perhaps I should stop asking questions, because who's the one that's trying to get an answer for my own question? But you see, I mean, what's the point of doing? What's the point of realizing that everything is happening by itself if there is no one? You see, what's the point of anything? So that's the question. I hope you have a nice day, and I hope the viewers get something out of this. I will close the call conversation, and I see you on Ustream, because I have muted Ustream. Yeah. So it was nice hearing you speak, Rebecca. Have a nice day. Bye.
Oh, bye. I've forgotten the question now. He wrote it somewhere. Let's have a look on Skype. That was a different question. There must be a feeling that you are someone and you are asking the questions. That the questions are coming from you. They're your question that you're asking. Questions are asked. Questions appear. And there's nobody really asking the questions. I'd prefer if you were there to respond and talk back. So, but yeah, there's no point in the questions or the responses really. There's just questions are spoken and responses are spoken. But there are no real questions. Not really. But I remember that the questions seem really important, as if the answer's going to somehow resolve everything and make everything understandable, and you're going to get somewhere with the question, and the answer you're going to get back is going to be useful in some way and beneficial in some way. And in some way it can relax and feel quite nice to get a nice answer back and make you feel as if, okay, I've dealt with that question and I can relax a little bit now. But there's no real answer to any of the questions. They don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. Just a question comes up as if it's really important and it's going to somehow resolve everything, and then it goes and nothing's changed. It's this again. It's always this, just what's happening always. And at some, sorry to sound like a journey in time, but at some point the questions become so irrelevant and there are no questions, because the questions aren't going to give you anything or get you anywhere. The belief in that whole journey of moving somewhere and getting somewhere. Crazy. There's just this. And all these appearances and movements appear, come and go, come and go. Thoughts, emotions, actions, given the appearance as if there's a movement, a change is going somewhere. But it's always just this, with different appearances. I don't really know what happens. Something stops happening. Something stops claiming and no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't give attention to questions. I'm not saying that at all. If that happens, that's what's happening. Attention's going to questions. That's what's happening. There's no one for me to give advice to. I can't say don't give it attention to questions or do that. I can't say that to anyone. There's no one to give attention to questions or not give attention to questions. It happens or it doesn't happen. There isn't anyone. If the attention or the focus moves towards questions or moves towards feeling hungry or moves towards your partner or whatever the attention's moving towards, that's what it's moving towards. This isn't about the attention. The attention's another appearance, another movement in this. That whole play of trying to bring the attention into the present moment or bring the attention onto positivity, it's another game, it's another circle, another impossibility. How can that be done? How can the attention always be on any one particular thing? It can't. Things are always moving and changing. It's impossible. This is the freedom. This is the freedom. What's happening? Whatever's happening, this is the freedom. This is the perfection. This. Thanks for your question. Javier. Javier. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Javier. Or Javier. Thank you for the question. So I'm gonna, if there are no more questions, then I'm gonna end the broadcast. And I'll see you guys next week. Next Friday. Okay. Bye. Bye.